What I would like to do now is just give a very broad overview of what the impromptu speech is and why we're doing it. So I want to spend our time in this video lecture talking about why we're doing the impromptu speech, how we're going to be doing the impromptu speech, and what you're going to be speaking on in the impromptu speech. So to begin with, why do this assignment? Well, I really love the impromptu speech. I think this is a hugely useful model. It's a quick two-point argument, and you can take this basic model and use it in a wide range of settings. So this assignment is virtually the same as when I teach the class live here at the University of Washington. And when I offer this section of the class, usually within a week or two, I'll get students coming in giving success stories about how they ran an impromptu in some given situation. I've run this online, and I get emails from people saying how they did an impromptu and how it really helped them. So I've had emails, people saying they got a promotion because they went in for their boss and they did a quick impromptu, or they got a job because it works really well in interviews. And it makes sense because this is a quick way of organizing your thoughts, discussing ideas in depth, but still staying on topic. So it really works well in job interviews or in meetings or in group discussions. It's a very flexible model. So that's kind of why I like this model in general. I also really like starting the class with this model because it is an elemental framework. It allows us to master a couple of basic ideas, and then we can take those and move them in other directions when we move into the informative speech or the persuasive speech in this class. So it's a really good way of also sort of performing arrangement, really getting a sense for being able to signal to the audience when you're in one portion of the speech or when you're in another portion of the speech. So the engine of the impromptu speech is very useful because it has fewer moving parts, and those fewer moving parts work well in other speeches. I was really hoping to stay with the mechanical metaphor I had set up there, but it totally ran out of steam. Or did it? That's an extension of the metaphor. But anyways, so that's what the assignment is. Now, how are we going to be doing this? What are sort of the mechanics? What are the mechanics? I'm just at this point entertaining myself with this, but that works for me and maybe for you. So how are we going to be doing it? In this speech, what you're going to do is pick a prompt. These are just sample thesis statements, and it's merely input. So I want you to pick a prompt, and then I want you to be able to prepare an outline on that topic in 5 minutes. Now, this is an online course. No one's looking over your shoulder. But I do think as you practice this, you're going to want to get to the point where you can do this in 5 minutes or less. That's sort of the benefit of this. I want you to sort of build this into your muscle memory to be able to put these speeches together quickly. So the goal is for you to put these together in 5 minutes and then deliver a 3 to 6 minute speech on that topic. Actually, I'm going to pause you right there. I know I just said 3 to 6 minutes, and the fact of the matter is I've been running these, and really what it seems like is 4 to 7 is better. So I think if you're doing all that I'm asking you to in this speech, you're probably going to be coming in somewhere around that 5 minute mark. But anyway, so we're going to run this as a 4 to 7 minute speech. I still, you handsome devil, I still like what he said about the other stuff, but it's going to be a 4 to 7 minute long speech. It's pretty bald from back here. I need to take care of that. Continue on. So in essence, most of these speeches are going to look pretty much the same. And this is the model that I'm teaching to, this basic two-point argument. So if you look here, what you'll see is pretty much most of the speeches are going to have a basic introduction, 2 main points. Each main point has 2 pieces of support underneath it in advance of that main point, and then a general conclusion to the entire speech. Now, I'm going with this model not because I love crushing creativity and individuality. That's merely a perk. I'm doing that primarily because this model is so useful in various situations. As you're running it, when you do it in that interview or in some outside setting, you can add additional points. But this allows us to get down to some key elements of speech delivery, being able to craft claims and discuss them well through specific examples. That's what this model gets us. Now, in advance of this, I'm going to give you the prompts. So I'm going to give you the thesis statements you can use to prepare your impromptu speech. Now, I need these prompts because I have to have input. You have to speak on something. And I want to be able to focus on the mechanics of the speech, coming up with the main points, talking through that evidence. So in this way, I kind of want to remove topic from your mental docket. I don't want that to be something you have to burn up a bunch of brain cells on. So I'll provide you with these topics. Now, if in going through those topics and practicing an impromptu and recording an impromptu for this class, posting it online, you're not bound by those topics if they're not useful. I want this assignment to set you up for success outside of this class. I kind of know how to write these impromptu prompts, but as you're going through this, you want to practice something else, that's fine too. Because in the design of these, I stuck with sort of two basic themes. So right now, I know virtually nothing about the people on the other side of this screen. Okay? I know a little something about the camera guys, but that's about it. I don't know much beyond the other side of the screen, save two things. There are two things I know fairly reliably about anyone watching this video. One, you're interested in public speaking. Okay? You have some sort of interest in public speaking. Or you're a fan of me, in which case that explains my mom, hi mom, but not anyone else. Okay? So I know that you're pretty much interested in public speaking. And the second thing I know is that at some basic level, you're functionally aware of what a MOOC is, a massive open online course. That's what this is. That's what you're involved in right now. So I know public speaking and I know MOOCs. So I tried to craft topics that spoke to those two areas. And that's because I want to make sure that all the examples I'm using are mutually intelligible to anyone who would watch this. And as you record speeches and post them online, they would be intelligible to anyone who was engaging in watching one of the speeches for peer review. So what might some of these look like? Well, under speech, these might be stuff like delivery is more important than invention in public speaking, or something like the prevalence of the television soundbite has significantly hurt the quality of public speaking. Or if we shift over to that MOOC topic, it might be online education will never replace traditional universities, or MOOCs should charge a small fee for classes in order to pay for staffing and website development. But so those are sort of the level of claims that we're dealing with, merely because that allows us to get to the speech. We've got the topic, it sets you up for an argument, but we can get to that speech. So in any one of these topics, I really don't care what you argue. I don't have a dog in any one of these fights. That's not why the prompt is there. I'm not saying you should argue this. I don't care what the argument is, but I care that the arguments are good. And that's where my concern is. So this lecture was really just to give you a broad sense of what this assignment is about. Now in the next lecture, we're going to move through the specific assignment learning goals and its attendant evaluative rubric.